when you look at social media, it's a pure play network effect game. And for that, you need to have a lot of habit loops, right reward system. There's so many factors that come into play. When you look or peel the onion down, you'll realize that the problems that you're talking about comes from an infra lens. So if instead of using Gmail, there was something, have you heard of skift.com? It's a
Yep.
decentralized G Suite service. So if something like that existed,
To all the audience who are here, we will be talking about the journey of Deep, how he started from a product background and then work in the cred and also in multiple companies, and now he is a founder in Fragments. Welcome, Deep, to the Community Builder podcast. Let's start from your introduction.
sure. I think it's been a journey since college. I graduated from BITS in 2020. Throughout the campus, explored multiple avenues of product growth and partnerships, and eventually landed a job in product where we were doing UX design consultancy. Then moved to Cred because the earlier product we are working very much close with financial services. So Cred happened naturally. Spent a year at Cred building the first investment product there, and we scaled it over 100 crore AUM. And then I realized how the DeFi summer was catching up, and I started to move into the space of Web3, something that I've been following since 2017 on campus.
Cool, got it, right. Start about your like background and you got into this product, like you did bits planning, right? So what was your course there and how you got into the product market fit and then how you switch to Web3 market, because that's totally different blocks that you do, right? Let's start from there.
So, like college, I think I started studying pharmaceutical sciences, but that's the course. I was more inclined towards like entrepreneurship and media and communication as an aspect, and that's why I spent most of my learning time there. And looking at roles like growth, product, or partnerships, somewhere these soft skills were required. Eventually, when I saw a consumer adoption happening in Web3, that's the point when I took the shift from fintech to Web3. Until then, it was just a cool builders hub, you can say. It was very infra heavy with devs. And when you saw consumer adoption through the DeFi summer, where NFTs were being created, DAOs were being created, so there was an inclusion of culture in the technical layout that blockchain was. And that's wherein I think it actually started being called Web3 also.
Yep. Cool. Okay, so what do you think? What was some of the smartest decisions that you made in your life till now, right? Swapping from different like product, tech, then Web3, right? So you must have made some smartest decisions of your life. So what were those?
I mean, everything on this regard should be taken with a pinch of salt because it's very situational and personal. But from my lens, I think what worked out was like just keeping on moving and having a bias to build. So if something is not working out, you've built something and it's not having a great consumer adoption, you need to realize when to stop and then move on and build the next thing. Because a lot of time we romanticize or get attached to what we are building, and that kind of leads to us building from our biases rather than the market.
Cool. Okay, so we talked about some of your smarter decisions, right? Let's talk about some of the biggest mistakes that you think that you have made in your life, and if you go in back in your time, you will replicate those.
I won't replicate those. I would try to correct those the mistakes. But like looking at how we built out initial leg of fragments, right? We started with Good Luck Party back in April. Until November, we were building out a very heavy product, right? Rather, if we would have focused on a very single particular use case that solved for a particular high ROI client or customer, you can say, that would have been a better stance where we could have built fast, taken out feedback faster, and then moved on to the next thing, which is what we adopted when we moved out or away from fragments to more towards cross-chain automation, where we first built out payments. We realized that people need streaming along with payments. So we built out streaming. Then we realized that while doing payments and streaming, a lot of swaps are happening. And eventually, if you look at Binance or anything that has like great DAUs, right? FTX, all these are PMF products in crypto, right? But they were all centralized. What if we could bring this capability to decentralization? And that's wherein we started building out a swap product or a swap module that allows you to do limit orders, DCA, all of these strategies that actually people require when they are interacting with crypto. So just trying to have a shorter feedback loop. We spent a lot of time planning and building it out from thinking of scale on day zero. I think that was a very big mistake.
Right. Got it. Okay. So, what was your journey from Web 2 to Web 3? How much time did it take you to get into Web 3 and understand the whole ecosystem of Web 3?
So I think as a passive observer, or like we built out stuff in hackathons, that was since 2017. Coming to 2021 is where I actually started investing, and like investing in NFTs, particularly with kitties or groups or squads, whatever you want to call it. But it's basically your friends, where you realize that you can make 10 bets if we invest together versus individually every one of us making one bet. So that's just the idea how like we
Right.
were naturally investing, and then building out products with these friends. And it's, I think, more fun like when it was collaborative. And then I naturally started out, like when I took the decision to start out, it was more inclined to like happen in this space.
Right. Okay. What are your views on Web3 culture and how do you see it? Like, how much time will it gonna take for Web3 to get adopted by the masses?
So currently where we are at, right? I feel there is a lot of dApps being built, and a lot of silos being built on protocol level. I believe EVM itself has given us a very great composable architecture, and instead of making it better, people are creating alt L1s, which is something I'm not a very big fan of. I feel the space needs to appreciate composable products and build composable products on top of existing composable product. When I say composable, it needs to be modular, it needs to be trustless, and needs to be decentralized. If these three checks are passed, it's just easier to build on top of existing tech than creating a new wheel from scratch. So that's something where I feel adoption is being held back. And from a user adoption lens, I think we are far behind on UX and infra. Where your OS that you're using today is not Web3. Your hardware that you're using today does not have a private key in it. Even coming to your phones, anywhere that you are interacting with these dApps is not totally decentralized. Even the storage of your front ends is happening on a Web2 stack. So the day when ZK comes in, or like the ability to hold more data on a block comes in, these are the infra problems that are there. And with similarly, there are UX issues which comes or stems from these infra problems, where you take trade-offs and build products which are actually possible in the current infra that is limited. I think when both of this comes together is when like mass scale adoption will come in.
So, my next question would be like, what inspired you to start Fragments, like your own company, and what were some of the biggest challenges that you faced while building the company?
I always wanted to start out. There's no sudden inspiration. I think what catalyzed this was the fact that we were at a very stable stage in the job where I was working, and there was a great DeFi summer which had brought in a lot of consumer adoption to the space where I was actively planning to build, and just calculating a lot of other things in terms of family, in terms of your economic, how much savings do you have, all of those things. Once those checks are done, I think it's easier to take this call. And after getting in, it's very hard to first convince your family, because you're coming from a stable job where every month they are pampering you with salary, gifts, all the things that you wouldn't want to get out of the system for. So I think convincing home is primary, and then finding and building out a team who's aligned on that vision, right? As a solo founder, it's been very one dimensional, that you always think on one line of thought, but trying to align more and more people and sharing the same vision and building on that lens, I think that's very tough, as you can see.
Cool. So, next question would be like, you recently attended Eth Tokyo, right? If I'm not wrong. And what was some of the most exciting developments you saw there in the world of blockchain and cryptocurrency?
So I think the broader theme is always there, right? With coming from DevCon, it distills down to every event throughout the next year. So if you look at DevCon, like account abstraction was pretty big. It was very evident in the aftermath of the next in-person event, which was Eth Tokyo. So a lot of people were building on top of account abstraction, and that's wherein we found a white space to build a module. So instead of focusing more on building the account abstraction layer itself, where we thought a lot of wheels are already built, like Ethereum as trampoline, Safe has its own account abstraction, Argent has, we can build on top of them, right? So that's how we started thinking on the lens of building a smart contract module, which allows for conditional swaps. So you can do capabilities like limit orders, DCA, and all these structured or scheduled DeFi strategies. And that's something which was well received, and we came out as a finalist on the main stage.
Yep, yep. So it would have been a good total journey of you being in Tokyo. You must have seen so many things, right? Cool.
Yeah. Always great
Okay.
to like people who are building through the bear market, right? These are folks who are not just larping into the ecosystem because like things were bullish or something was hot. They have a strict thesis or a very succinct idea of what's working out, and they are building on it heads down. So it's always fun to meet builders in this mindset.
Yeah, totally. You learn and you make people learn with you, right? Okay, moving into our next question. Like, as a founder, what do you see as the most important qualities of like for the word success? And those qualities, and how have you developed those qualities over time?
I think we are far off from finding out. We are all figuring out and learning here. I think very basic root level things that we follow is like just be customer obsessed. Like whatever you're building, you will always have a bias in your head of how you want to approach the solution. But you also need to somewhere then tone it down and realize that whether it will be accepted or is it required by the customer. And speaking with customers help the like sort this out to a larger extent than you can actually imagine. So speaking with customers and being customer obsessed is primary. I think another thing is you will have like motivation rundowns. Like you will be not always motivated at a level where you can give out the best throughput. So it's okay to take a call to go on the back foot at that point of time. I think these are two things that I have developed in this journey so far. But it's a long way where I'm also still learning, and I'll also keep following to see what other founders have to say on this.
Sure. So we can get people in the comment section write down to your views for sure. Cool. So our next question would be like something, what advice would you give to aspiring entrepreneurs who are just starting out their careers in Web3?
Uh, I think I somewhere pointed it out. I'll just say that if there is something that's composable out there, try to build on top of it. And if you're building something from scratch, build it from a composable lens. And when I say composable, it has to be trustless. It has to be modular enough for anyone else to build on top of it. And if these two things check, it will eventually become decentralized. So if you are trying to build out something in Web3 particularly, try to build out composable systems. That's a big advice I would like to, or I would like to shill on this particular motto to any builder that's building in this space.
No. Okay. So what are some of the biggest trends and opportunities you see in the tech industry right now happening?
So I see a lot of people building top level dApps, but if you can spend some more time and realize that there are so many hard problems at root level and pick up those problems, that's a really good place to solve. I mean, there are a lot of trends which you will hear in the noise, so I don't want to be redundant there. But just this one exercise will help you find the right problems to solve.
Yeah, got it. Okay. So coming up to our last question, could you share some tricks or hacks that you have learned over the years that have helped you be more productive or efficient in your work for our audience?
I think being more productive is a very wrong way to put things, because when you are trying to optimize on productivity, right, you are thinking from a micro lens. But when you're building something, you have to sometimes also zoom out and see that which direction are you heading? Is it the right way? Because you, in the length of being productive, you will optimize for smaller things and build out some things which are great on a weekly basis. But on the larger, say like a year or a decade, that you are trying to build out, is it actually going to spend tangible value? So I wouldn't say like this is one trick where I kind of zoom out sometimes, where we get too inclined or solving a problem we are too obsessed about. It's just better to take a step back and see that, okay, like 5 years down the line, is this going to be there? Is this relevant enough? Or spending time on optimizing on it, is it going to provide that much outcome? So yeah, that's one thing which I would like to say.
Cool. Okay. So coming to our rapid question round now. I will just put on 5 questions over you back to back, and you just have to answer it in one word and one sentence. Okay. So one piece of advice for your Web3 builders.
Build composable systems.
Okay. Your favorite project in Web3 other than yours.
I think connects right now with a lot of chains coming up and interoperability being a real problem. I think those guys are front running it at a very good level. So connects network is something I would like to say.
Good. What's one thing you do every day to stay focused and motivated?
I think just realizing what you're solving is not just impacting a small bunch of people and having a bigger impact, that will inherently motivate you. And you will have, like, you're human, you will have times where you will not be at your optimum. Just at that point, take out time and just what I do is, like, a trick is passive resignation. Like this company doesn't belong to me, and I just say that, okay, I'm not doing fragments, and that's, you zone out from that, and then you can spend time out on something else, and that'll kind of re-motivate you to come back when you are back on the job.
Coming to the last rapid question round. What's one thing you wish you knew when you were just starting out as an entrepreneur?
Just build fast, and 0 to 1 systems don't think about scale, think about providing the right value to your customer, and iterate faster.
Cool, got it. Please join our Discord community so that our audience can ask their questions with you over there, but just tagging you. And it was cool to have you. You can just share the link for the fragment so that I can push those also in the description and people can check out your product as well. So thanks for joining in. It was nice hosting you guys. Thank you so much, Deep, for your time. Thank you so much.
Anyone who wants to, like, check us out, we are at Fragments HQ on Twitter. You can just check out. And currently we are here in Himachal, where we've set up a hacker house for anyone who likes to build on cross chain or automation in smart contract space. And if you've built past products, just hit us up on Twitter. My Twitter is also, I think, something that you'll link up, and you guys
Yep,
can reach us. And we would love to speak to builders that are excited to spend time in this space.
for sure. So thank you guys for joining in. Next more episodes will be coming soon over our same YouTube channel, which on you are seeing this video right now. Go check out our communities and fragments in the description channel. Thank you.